Good morning, we are Group 1 and our today's presentation is on human resource management at IKEA. We chose that topic because we have two Swedish girls in our group. So we will be talking about HR strategy, attracting talent, training and improvement, leadership and HR management, cross-cultural strategy and co-worker stories. Their philosophy is that employees are more productive and committed when the company takes care of them and their needs. So when IKEA employees do their stuff, they choose people who love their brand and for whom they know that they will be committed to their work. And because of that, they have an effective retention strategy. They try to make their recruiting process fun, and when they're moving to another country, expanding to other markets, they try to make sure that all senior positions are filled with managers, with local managers to ensure maximum adaptation to local conditions. They identify and include their managers irrespective of their nationality for various international assignments to make sure that best practices are identified and then applied to different units of the organization. They also develop their local talent through their in-house development management programs, and as I said, when they move to another country, they try to make sure that they adjust to local culture and conditions as much as they can. Their vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people, and they achieve needs of co-workers. They don't call their employees, they call them co-workers. And they want to achieve their needs and their organizational goals at the same time with sustainable profitability. And they take care of different aspects of HR to run the company. And their HR managers have to think ahead and strategize on how their organization will meet their co-workers or employees' needs. So for that reason, they look for down-to-earth, straightforward people who are willing to help them fulfill their vision and who are willing to work in teams. They provide them stimulating and enjoyable work environment, and if they want to keep expanding and keep being successful company, they need to invest in continual development of their co-workers. And their HR...
That is a co-worker.
They call their employees, instead of calling them employees, they call them co-workers.
Oh, okay.
And their HR department is responsible for safeguarding and strengthening their culture. IKEA is a value-driven company. They emphasize these few values: simplicity, teamwork, communication, forthrightness, and urgency. Their core values are cost consciousness, dynamism, flexibility, and employee empowerment. So all their communication is done in the way to emphasize those values. And now we have the example of recruiting process they've done in Australia. They believe that it's the people who make the company, so they point out top 10 reasons why people stay with IKEA. The first one is they hire the right people. As I said, they look for people who love their brand and for whom they are sure that they are willing to work together in a team and help them to fulfill their vision. They are inspired, so when a company like IKEA has a clear values and clear vision, they think it's not difficult to get inspired. So almost 80% of their people, of their co-workers, get inspired on their work. They think that making mistakes is okay because everybody does them, and they think it's a healthy and normal way to learn by making mistakes. And up, down, and sideways career. IKEA is the company with the most. It's the company which has the most diverse, the biggest number of the different types of jobs. So people, if their co-workers get bored with what they're doing or just want to try something else, they can stay at IKEA and try to do another kind of job. They don't have to leave the company. Sweden today, China tomorrow means that if there are customers moving from one country to another, since there are so many IKEA stores and offices all around the world, there will be always IKEA staff to help them with their furniture if they face some other issues. Egos parked at the door, so when they employ new staff, they ask them to leave their egos at the door because they want team workers, people who will work together, who will have fun together, and who will become friends. The rewards of a never-ending job. So IKEA is a very socially responsible company. So far they helped like over 100 million children in needs, and they keep doing that. Learning by the seat of your pants. If they think that you're the right person for them, they will provide you a mentor and all other stuff that you need in order to understand your job and to perform well and be satisfied with your job. Parent-friendly environment. Since they employ many parents who have children in their private life, they help them to balance that private life and their work. The regional social network. It means that, as I said, there are so many IKEAs all around the world. So if their co-workers go to any major city in the world, there will be some IKEA. There will be their IKEA colleagues who they can talk with. And culture fit quiz. This is a quiz from their official website where potential job candidates can take this quiz in order to find out whether they would be good candidates for the job, and if they would like just to check whether they would fit their culture.
Yeah, thank you. Very good.
And now I'm going to continue talking about how they are attracting employees and give some examples of how we can improve the requirement strategy. IKEA looks at the employees with great potential and possibilities. They therefore believe in people and see every person as a talent. IKEA's recruitment strategy is a part of the brand strategy, and they call it culture and effectiveness, where they consider the corporate culture as a part of competitive edge. It's therefore critical that employees embrace and reflect the company's core values, and making core values the main message in recruitment efforts and attracting potential employees who identify with IKEA's values and who therefore contribute to building the brand. IKEA's company values that their recruitment strategy is based on is to find engaged, diverse, and straightforward people with a passion for home furnishing. Even though that the employees come from all over the world, they should share the same fundamental humanistic values that the culture is based on. And these are their fundamental values is togetherness, humbleness, simplicity, cost consciousness, and common sense. IKEA selected employees on the basis of their attitudes, values, and cultural fit with the company as much for their qualification. Instead of just looking at job-related skills and experience when deciding who to hire, culture-focused companies expand their selecting criteria to improve cultural fit, assessing applicants' personalities and values. The purpose of this cultural embeddedness as a recruitment strategy is that in some professionals, at least job-related skills are not always the best predictor of performance and can easily be changed, while values and personalities cannot. To succeed with their recruitment strategy, with the corporate culture part of their competitive edge, IKEA hiring practice follows all these principles. They downplay skills, experience, and academic credentials. They ask about job applicants' values and beliefs. They comment about values and beliefs before employees through their screening, reviewing, and training and development. And when they apply for internal jobs and leadership positions, the main focus is once again on values and efforts to ensure participation. To attract new talents, IKEA also offer the employees to grow with the company and offer endless career and learning possibilities. They can offer new employees the expertise, development and support they need along the way. Employees are encouraged to try different roles, and many people change between functions and countries several times in their careers. This increases understanding and learning within the organization. And that's why it's good learning in the business makes people grow, and when people grow, IKEA grows too. Now I'm going to give some examples how they can improve their recruitment strategy. IKEA at the moment doesn't have any interactions with the students, and therefore we think that they can add to the strategy and practice to educate students' recognition of IKEA's employment brand, so they can build and gain early interest and engagement in IKEA's organization's career opportunities, for example by internship or training program, joint projects with university, mentorship programs, events, workshops, seated dinners, campus presentations, and so on. And now I'm going
Yeah, I'm going to talk about more about training and improvement in IKEA. And training is a way of communication, and it involves the training skills required to perform certain tasks and the training aspect related to the organizational culture and structure. And it also includes problem-solving skills in the workplace. IKEA has a learning and development program. It's for all employees. And in every IKEA unit they have learning and development managers who are responsibilities for the training for new workers and develop the skills of the experienced co-workers. IKEA offers several training programs, from on-store training to national training and specialized workshops worldwide. IKEA wants to encourage their workers for new goals and want to develop the leadership skills and abilities. For example, new workers in IKEA, they get 2 weeks training before the first customer contact. And then the training is done in enhanced work environment so that the new workers can learn from experienced co-workers. IKEA also arranges multiple online training possibilities. And now I'm going to show you a video, for example, of the training possibilities in IKEA.
Distribution Center in Savannah 3 years ago.
This is in US Savannah, distribution center.
When Swedish home furnishings giant IKEA opened a distribution center in Savannah 3 years ago, everything about their operation was big. The warehouse, located in western Chatham County, measures in at 1.7 million square feet. About 15,000 shipping containers are trucked from the Port of Savannah to the facility every year. Savannah IKEA workers annually handle almost 900,000 pallets stacked with disassembled tables, beds, lamps, chairs, and 10,000 other items destined for homes, apartments, and college dorms across the Southeast. Even the fans here are big. This series of big boards on IKEA's warehouse floor ranks the productivity of each of the company's 33 distribution centers in 6 major areas. Overall, Savannah's operation is the 7th most productive in the world. Savannah IKEA moves all of these boxes in such an efficient manner with just 100 employees. So how does IKEA get so much from these workers while maintaining a low 6% turnover rate? And why are all these workers smiling so much?
If you talk to IKEA employees, you'll find out we move a lot of boxes, but we have a lot of fun.
That's Jill Fitzgerald, Human Resources Manager for the Savannah Distribution Center. Jill says these flat packs that have made IKEA a household name are also a good illustration of the warehouse management structure.
We try very hard to involve our coworkers in decision-making processes.
Employees serve on a half-dozen committees and special focus groups that study issues and make recommendations. Corrective action can be appealed to a peer review committee, which does have the authority to change an outcome.
We have business needs that have to be met, but they're doing the work to meet those. So they can tell us, how we can meet those needs and also meet their needs as an employee, as a mother, as a father, as a single parent, how it can be a win-win for both of us.
Those huge fans were the result of one of those committees. So was a new hydration policy. When gas prices jumped in 2007, one of those committees proposed a 4-day work week. Management agreed.
Everyone here at IKEA is a coworker, even management on down from office to the floor. Everyone has a say-so in anything that gets implemented here as far as schedule changes. For me, I'm a single mom of a 7-year-old, and he's starting to play sports now. So I get to attend the sports on Saturdays, and Sunday through Wednesday I get the opportunity to put him on the bus twice a week. And for me, the hour 6 to 4:30, 10-hour days works well for me as being a single mom.
The distribution center has offered free on-site tax preparation, as well as on-site screening for food stamps and Peach Care health benefits. Managers are required to attend poverty simulations to understand the barriers that low-wage workers face. The center hires entry-level workers without a high school diploma.
We're definitely a value-driven organization. We hire for values versus skill, and then we can teach the skill.
IKEA has helped dozens of its employees receive their GEDs through on-site courses. Joanne Gilmer took advantage of a college certificate management course offered by IKEA through Savannah Tech. That led her to a promotion from floor worker to inventory manager.
It's who you are and your values here at IKEA. When they do hire you or even promote you, you don't have to have a college degree or anything. You can be promoted if you want to, improve yourself and move forward.
Allie Carroll actually took a pay cut when she left her job in 2007 to become an IKEA General Warehouse co-worker. Merit raises quickly made up that difference, but what has kept Allie at IKEA and what makes her more productive is feeling that her voice is finally being heard.
I would highly recommend it to anybody. Anybody that wants to change the atmosphere, that's cared about, that's appreciated. And like Joanne mentioned earlier about your voice matters. Your voice does matter here. We do a lot of stuff for Habitat for Humanity. We've done stuff for Second Harvest, food drops. We've done the Red Cross blood drive 2 years in a row. We try to do something each month for the community, and it's volunteer work, you know. So we're making a name for ourselves. We're being watched. We know it.
Yeah, so that was the example of the training possibilities in distribution center in US in Savannah. And IKEA has also a personal development program for the employees. It's called Paddle Your Own Canoe. In the first section of the program, the workers focus on self-awareness, investigating strengths, weaknesses, and potential career paths. After this, they will meet with the managers to discuss about self-assessment findings, choose position to develop their work, and perform a skills gap analysis. In the final phase, they set up a personal goals and create an action plan how to apply outcome in the workplace. The process is supported by online career resource center that provides resources and material to complete tasks. And they also have an annual survey for the employees to all units around the world. It's called The Voice. And surveys aims to listen to employees' opinions to measure how much the culture is embedded into organization. Moreover, it's a tool to enhance communication at all organizational levels and generate engagement, which will lead to an improvement in organizational performance. IKEA provides this Voice survey, and it consists of 3 parts and a lot of questions. And the parts are IKEA issues like people retention and diversity, and people section about the employees' motivation and openness and learning skills. And then there is organization issues about creativity and speed and cooperation. And we looked for survey results from Voice 2008, and there are some improvement ideas we have because the organization is all about communication, and the employees in this survey said that communication could be better, and I think the communication could be better always in every workplace. So our suggestion is functional workshops where the co-workers and employees from different functional levels comes together, and then they will find their value and what they are important to the chain in the organization. And and then they will learn what's the different responsibilities in the organization in different units. And employees also want to have more information about training possibilities and increase the possibilities for involvement and participation.
Thank you.
HR managers have to design a mission statement, and a mission statement defines what an organization is, why it exists, and its reason for being. It's also defined a primary customer, identify the products and service the company produces, and the geographical location the company operates in. So to design a mission statement, the manager should get a diverse need of all stakeholders of the company, because they have to satisfy all these parties without affecting the profitability of the company. And to design a mission statement, they should also carry out an environmental analysis of the company to know the current situation. So they can do, like, for example, a SWOT analyze. And by analyzing this issue will assist the HR manager to direct co-workers' efforts toward maximizing the strengths of the organization, which will provide performance of the company. IKEA sits next to the knowledge strategy. It is a training technique in which technical skills and professional skills are not acquired in the classroom, but through observation of the gradual participation in practice. It often refers to as learning from extended workers. And IKEA worked really hard to satisfy both employees and stakeholders. And stakeholders are any people who directly or indirectly affects the organization actions. So IKEA stakeholders divide their stakeholder in different groups, and they need to identify the important stakeholder, and they should keep this the stakeholder well informed by sending current news or information, and by doing that they can get usual feedback. And IKEA make the employees implicated in the recruitment of the company performance despite the high competition in the market. So a good HR manager should set his decision and goes toward creating organization. And the HR manager should create a total service excellence culture, which make the employees recognize that they are part and parcel of the overall performance of the company. And the manager will make the employees accountable for the performance, not to anybody else. And by doing that, they will give them a sense of feeling part of the company. And this strategy would be the right camper used for IKEA to increase the performance in the organization.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Okay. So, I'm going to talk to you about the IKEA's cross-cultural strategy. So you all know IKEA is a Swedish company and it has operations in most of the countries in the world. So it has to have a cross-cultural strategy. And right now, IKEA's main focus is on the transferring of the employees. It's mostly revolved around identifying and managing the expatriates in the international job market and transferring them to regions without these expatriates. And this, IKEA says, increases the performance of the organization in all branches worldwide. But as IKEA is a growing multinational organization, it also should take into consideration the differences in national cultures, family cultures, company cultures, and also functional cultures. And it has to address these issues in order to continue being successful. And as you all know, IKEA goes with the same concept everywhere they open their store. They bring their own values with them. They even have to bring the Swedish food with them to the different countries. So this means that they have to pay very close attention to the cultures of the countries that they are expanding into, and especially when they are considering or when they are employing people or co-workers from this foreign country. So we have thought that IKEA should maybe understand more cross-cultural theories, and they should have a really fundamental understanding of the different theories in order to be able to set up strategies and then implement these strategies. And we've chosen mainly those by Gerd Hofstede and Frans Tompernaser, but there are also many others, but it will be too long. So I'm gonna.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Can you give more detail concerning this issue, this cross-cultural issue, especially you talk about this family culture? Why IKEA need to adjust his own culture to meet
Well, this is especially amongst the employees when they bring their concept of how they work into a different culture. Not especially they don't have to modify the concept of the store that much, but when they bring their working culture, the Swedish model, to different countries, then they have to make some adjustments. I have an example here from Taiwan and Sweden, so it'll be more clear, I hope. So, Gert Hofstede has a theory called the 4 dimensions theory, and he says that the culture consists of 4 different dimensions, which are power distance, individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, and then uncertainty avoidance. And these all are measured into actual number for each nation worldwide by questionnaires, and then are ranked by scores. They're high, medium, or low, or something in between. I'm going to explain shortly what these differences are, and then I'm going to show you an example of Taiwan versus Sweden. So power distance is how society deals with inequality. In a high score, the power distance index, it means that the culture supports inequalities amongst its citizens or employees. And then the low score shows that inequalities are not tolerated well. Individualism. And the individualistic culture is where people are expected to take care of themselves and only their immediate family. This is called I cultures. And in these cultures, tasks are valued over relationships, whereas in collective societies or we cultures, in-groups are formed early and kept throughout one's life. They are, for example, extended family, friends, or even business associates. And in these cultures, relationships are valued over tasks, and members avoid using face. The masculinity versus femininity. In masculine cultures, in work cultures, they place high emphasis on earnings potentials, how they can develop their career, the opportunity of advancement, the feeling of challenge and accomplishment, whereas in feminine cultures, the most important aspect at work is to have a good working relationship with your supervisors, your peers, and to have a sense of real job security. And then the last one, uncertainty avoidance. High scores or low trust cultures tend to have a need to avoid failure. They seek consensus, are fearful of conflict. They create many rules and laws and tend to show high levels of stress and anxiety, whereas low scores are non-expressive societies. The cultures are willing to take more risks, but they believe that conflicts are fair play, and they have less laws and rules and accept dissent and appear to be more relaxed and stress-free. So here comes the comparison of Taiwan versus Sweden. These are the power distances measured into numbers. The power distance index, as you can see, Sweden has very low. It is only 31, whereas Taiwan has 58. The distinction between superior and inferior position in Taiwan is much higher in the Taiwanese society, whereas in Sweden. So in IKEA, this must be taken into consideration when they have their different leadership style. Taiwan has more of a sales kind of leadership style, where the leaders are making decisions and then trying to convince their subordinates that they are good ones, whereas in Sweden they have more delegative or consulting style, where the leaders get input from their subordinates before making decisions, or leaders even give power to their subordinates to be part of the decision making, where in IKEA that happens, as you saw in the videos. So these leadership styles must be adapted to match each other, otherwise you can't come with the Swedish style and lead people in Taiwan. Also, as you can see, Sweden has a very high individuality score, whereas Taiwan has a low. this is the biggest difference. In Taiwan, or in cultures with a low individuality score, nepotism and favoritism are frequently found in these collective societies. And what many multinational enterprises have done, they have made their employees sign anti-nepotism policies, contract where they agree on not to do this. So this is what IKEA could do in Taiwan as well. And then masculinity versus femininity. Sweden is actually the country with the lowest score, so it's a very feminine country. And Taiwan has a mid score. This means that their work goals of the employees in Sweden and Taiwan are different, and IKEA has to consider this when attempting to motivate their employees that they have different goals with their careers. And then the uncertainty avoidance. Sweden has a really low index, whereas Taiwan's is extremely high. This is an issue because IKEA is very informal and they have unconventional solutions for managing the company. And these could be poorly accepted by the Taiwanese. So this forces IKEA to introduce more structure to meet the natural inclinations of their employees. For instance, they can manage a Taiwanese or hire a Taiwanese HR manager to better understand the employees and what is expected. Then the next theory is Franz Trompenaar's culture, where he defines culture as an onion with 3 layers. The outer layer is the observable layer, middle layer with the layer values and norms, and then the inner core value. And the observable outer layer is what we primarily associate with the culture, for instance, clothing, organizational charts, handbook, or HR policies. Well, IKEA has mainly gotten rid of this problem because everyone is wearing the same uniform, but they still have to take this into consideration when making up HR policies. Then the second middle layer, the norms and the values that the organization holds. Norms representing what they judge as right or wrong, and values reflecting what is good and what is bad. And IKEA have the same values that they bring from country to country, so they have avoided this problem as well. And then the inner layer is difficult to see for outsiders. It's the unquestioned implicit culture that is built in and is the hardest one to change. So this IKEA might have to work a bit more on. But the most important thing Trompenaar says is the specific culture. And in Taiwan's case, the inner layer must be recognized and respected. If Sweden or if IKEA hires managers from different countries, they have to respect the inner core layer in Taiwan in order to be successful. So at the time, IKEA is doing a good job implementing some of these approaches, but they could, for example, in Taiwan's case, hire more managers that are local, and this allows for grassroots understanding of the culture in Taiwan, and these managers in turn can share their knowledge with different coworkers from all over the world. And also IKEA has a training strategy, so it won't be a problem hiring Taiwanese managers because they all undergo the same training in the beginning. And this was the cross-cultural strategy. I'm going to continue to conclusions.
So we're actually running out of time, so I'm going to be as fast as possible. The next slide is mostly... the next slide is about the coworker story. It's actually testimony about what how the coworkers are feeling. So here, for example, that Tony Pearson, supply manager in Shanghai, looking back, I would have worked abroad earlier and go running every day at 6 a.m. with a group of expats who all work for a big global company in Paris and Euros. We talk a lot and when during our running, and they are fascinated by the fact that at IKEA we can be yourself. So what does it mean? That means actually that this guy, like this Roman guy from Shanghai, is actually really happy in what he's doing. And if you just compare with what he was doing before, he just see a lot of advantage working at IKEA because there is like a really, he has a really good well-being being in this company, and he has friends, he has family there, and he's can feel good. So of course that's something you can find. This one I'm not going to lie, we found this one on the internet. So of course that's maybe an advertisement for the company that the company choose in order to promote it. But when we are getting to all the different testimony and all the different studies about IKEA's, every single employee is actually really happy. It's not a lie the company is doing. Like, it's something we can observe in general for every single co-workers. So here's some other co-worker story. So Lo Ko Kan in Singapore. Through the year I have made many good friends and they have become more like a family to me. Aaron in Thailand, where I've worked with IKEA for so long because I'm happy and happiness is around me. And Andrew James from Singapore. I had always wanted a good change in my career, and IKEA, a company that develops people, is one such premium employer that I'm glad to be part of. So all the different, we can see different parts of good well-being here. We can see family, we can see friends, we can see general well-being, like how do you feel every day, and also we can see like the career development, career opportunity. Well, here we decided to take mainly from Asia because we still wanted to deal with Asian countries because we're still in Taiwan. But that's the point of this company. Every single employee find co-workers, because here we're talking about co-workers, are really happy and efficient in what they're doing because that's a way, and it's a really innovative human resource strategy from IKEA. So that's what is going to bring us to the conclusion. So this innovative HRM strategy actually builds a really strong culture which promotes diversity and creativity. Because when a co-worker is in a really good place, good environment to work, really you can improve the capacity, it's just going to be really efficient. And that's why we can say like IKEA is actually the preferred employers for every, when there is a lot of studies I think that IKEA is the preferred employers. Also there is a name actually, a word who have been created just especially for IKEA. It's employer of choice because people are not going over there because they don't have diplomas or because they just like IKEA and furnitures. They're just going there because it represents everything they're looking for in order to be like strategy, like family strategy. For example, if you come to do something else or because you heard like IKEA was really good environment to work with. And also because if you want to improve your career, you still have like some, it's not blocked at the early beginning, you can enter and you still have some chance of promotion all the time. Then, among the top 4, it's the most attractive employers in 2010. Among the top 100, it's the best company to work for. I didn't choose all the WeWork because there is actually a lot of them, but this one are really two really famous one in the business companies ranking. So that was the point of human resource. This one are really important to underline, but there is so much more. And also, it's a successful cross-cultural strategy, like we were saying with Hannah. So IKEA's main aim is cross-cultural strategy has been focusing on cross-cultural transfer of the employees. But to maintain its leading market position, IKEA needs to pay attention to understanding different cross-cultural theories and implementing them. So, by implementing this, IKEA can use grassroots understanding of the local cultures and share the knowledge. That's something really important in order to make it even more cross-cultural and like people can understand why people understand the difference of cultures and work with it. They can still maintain the unique IKEA culture by training the manager in the corporate culture. So that's they best balance IKEA expectation with the local market. And then, finally, in order to make a little conclusion about the recruitment linked with brand strategy, they don't really look at the skill. That's what we were saying and saying. It's just look at the ambitions. And by looking just at the ambition, we can find a good compromise between the co-worker we are looking for and the values of IKEA. But all the time, regardless of the country where we can see IKEA, they just decide to make a unique culture and like we can apply in every single companies. So that's why
even if you are Taiwanese and going to France, or even if you are French and going to Taiwan, you can still find yourself and find a good place to work in IKEA. So we decided to talk about this company because here we are already 2 Swedish and 2 Finnish, and it was like something we really wanted to share because it's actually a really, really successful company and deserve to understand how they do that. And thank you for listening.
Very good. I have a question for all of you. Everyone can answer this question, right? The first, why you say that IKEA, the culture value is very important for their competitive advantage? Why they want to compete in the global market by means of their cultural value? Why? What kind of cultural value really can enhance their competitiveness in the global market?
It's because that's what we were seeing actually. They are following like human resource culture and strategy. They are following and running this strategy with the values. So by following these values, everybody is talking about the human resource strategy of IKEA, and that actually by doing efficiency about turnover, about how efficient are the workers, that also creates a really good brand image. Like every company can be feared about IKEA brand value, because you're going anywhere in the world, everybody is going to know about IKEA and how they are running. Even if you don't know exactly what you do, say, oh, this company has so much values, and I know like people over there can work well, and that's maybe better than a company who just felt like, yeah, they're doing a good job, but whatever. Like here, everybody knows, and the values are just going to run. It's a way of thinking. Like when we're talking about IKEA, human resource is not just a strategy, it's also a way of thinking, like we can even spread until the customers. So that's a competition advantage.
Thank you. You just talk about it from the HRE perspective, right? However, anyone can explain this to us from the customer's perspective, right? It's the customer who went to buy something from IKEA, right? Why customer think that your culture value by means of the people's service really let them feel happy to shop in IKEA?
One of their values are simplicity and cost consciousness. So that reflects on their furniture. Their furniture is simple, it's warm, it's family friendly, and it's not that expensive. That's what customers look for simplicity and some reasonable price. And I guess they feel comfortable shopping, buying stuff at IKEA because they can sense that atmosphere. They can sense that people there are happy, and then their overall picture of IKEA will be positive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because the employees of IKEA are appreciated by the company, and when they feel appreciated, they can give better service to customers because they enjoy their working environment. And then if they are, like Victor said, if the employees are happy, then the customers will get better service because nobody wants to get a service from sad face. I mean, I think it's quite simple, and that's why, I mean, if you think about the concept of IKEA warehouse, the units to shops, it's more like you go there, you pick your stuff, and maybe you can survive without talking to anybody, but if you need help, you can get help. I mean, it's like the workers there are not like trying to sell to you, but they believe that if you need help, you can get help.
Okay, yeah.
And also to finish, like the human resource strategy here also builds the customer relationship management, because obviously I think everybody here in this class already entered an IKEA shop. When you're entering an IKEA shop, first the thing you can see is, okay, here it's a family place, you can take care of your children, whatever you want. And then here we have the restaurant, and then just enjoy your shop now, just enjoy your shopping. So you're entering and you do whatever you want, and you know like your children is safe somewhere, and they just take care of that, because most of the employees actually, that's come from the employees' IDs sometimes.
because employees know what they need when they're going to a furniture shop. That's something that takes so much time all the time and everything. So they build what the customer wants, just doing testimonies and just giving ideas during the meetings. So you're going to IKEA, you're going to shop, you know, like you don't have to take care about food, you don't know, you know, like you don't have to take care about your child, you can do whatever you want, and still it's always like the customers and the coworkers are just thinking like the same person all the time. So that's make the customer feeling really at home actually.
Okay. And then another question, did you visit IKEA in Taiwan, Kaohsiung?
Did we?
Did you visit
Yeah.
IKEA Kaohsiung?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to 85 Tower.
Okay.
There's
It's
also
so
next to
cool.
Kyoto.
Yeah, near to Megastore.
And did you visit the IKEA in your hometown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you compare any differences between them?
It's the same, that's the point.
All the same?
Yeah, that's I think part of the charm of IKEA, because you know it from your home country, and then wherever you go in the world, it's the same concept. It's exactly the same. I mean, for us, if we want to go and eat some Swedish meatballs, we can go there. It's okay. You get them all over the world.
Any local?
Yeah, there are some local adjustments. They had spicy sauce.
IKEA, the different food.
No, but even in the shop, for example, they still keeping on Swedish. They still keeping on Swedish culture most of the time. Like you can see when you're entering, yeah, all the names are still in Swedish all everywhere. So I went, for example, with two Swedish, none of them, but two others, and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm feeling home." So I thought exactly the same like when they were in their place. They just wanted to go to IKEA because they wanted Swedish meal and Swedish spirits. And then when it was exactly the same, that's what they're working around. So that's the strategy of IKEA also.
And this IKEA's culture value, where did it stand from? I mean, its culture value, where it come from? Come from Sweden culture? Sweden culture? But when you compare the culture, yeah, when you compare the culture difference between Sweden and Taiwan, really, right, a great difference.
Yeah.
And
But I think the values are, I think most of the people in the world can connect or feel that the values are good,
Yeah.
because they're
yeah, so I just want to know. I just want to know. Did you know when IKEA came to Taiwan, and really he stressed his own culture value, but how can he find the Taiwanese employee to spread this culture value for their business? How did they can find this Taiwanese employee to meet their culture value and at the same time to meet the Taiwanese customer?
Their culture and the whole atmosphere at IKEA is like family friendly, family oriented. So I guess you can go anywhere in the world and people will have the same picture of family and same feeling. So I think for that reason it's not difficult for them to find employees who relate themselves to family and to family values. So as you mentioned, when Swedish people,
you mean that they just find some Taiwanese who had a similar culture value with
similar understanding of a family, because
I know.
by family they relate themselves to that kind of job, and as I think Hannah said, Swedish people who go, for example, here in Taiwan to IKEA, they sometimes you could just go there just to feel like they're at home.
Yeah,
that's home,
okay.
and then family atmosphere and values.
Yeah, because Hannah just showed us the Taiwanese culture value, right? A great difference.
But that was mostly.
But you know, when IKEA went to find their employee in Taiwan, they did consider that the general picture. They really want to find someone, right, who stress the importance of this individual performers, right? And however, also they want to take responsibility, right? Responsibility. Maybe it's just some young people, right? So if you look at the cultural value map from the hostess research, they just show this the general picture, you know, right? But in this general picture, you still can find someone, right, who is I would mean that it's some group of the people, right, who are not in this general situation. You got it?
Yeah, but I just want to say, like, these values, they choose the core values and everything.
Yeah.
The co-workers are doing the shop. That's the co-workers who are just going to, that's their main thing. The teamwork is going to do it. But here, all these values and core values, you can put them in every single nation in the world. They're universal values. So we're not talking about like really specific Swedish values. Of course it is, because that fits with the Swedish values. But you can always find a way to fit with the local culture. So they can just transfer them from one nation to one nation, and then they just have to interpret them like the way they want.
Thank you.